And we'll go ahead and start with Jackie Powell from Bleacher Report.
Oh. Hey, Sophie, thanks so much for taking the time. Congratulations, on coming back, obviously. So take us through what free agency was like for you. There were other teams that we heard were interested in you.
Yeah, well, thank you. But honestly, I didn't let it fluster me. I'm not a patient person whatsoever, but this is like the most patient I've ever been. So I should have so much props for that. But no, it was good. Other teams are great, but Phoenix is my home. That's my home away from home now. And I just love the people, the community, since I've re-signed. The X Factor has been all up in my DMs, just congratulating me and so happy that I'm back. And so when you have that sense of community, when you're not even from there, it's hard to give that up. So, my heart is in Phoenix and I'm just so blessed to be back there.
I appreciate that. And to follow up, I'm curious, since you've re-signed, you've got a new head coach. So I'm curious as to what the conversations have been with Vanessa so far, and when it comes to, your role and how maybe she'd like to see you continue to grow.
Absolutely. She's been great so far. And then, I've reached out to people who've been coached by her and they say she's absolutely the best. And so I'm super excited to get to play under her. Our team should be super excited. And, for me, it's all about still being able to shoot the ball. I shot the ball pretty well last year, but just continuing to get better through each season, each game, each practice. So, and then also developing my game, getting better on ball screens, getting that middle jumper. So I'm just not to the basket and 3-point shooter. So, nothing's guaranteed. But, I'm willing to put in the work. I'm super excited for the vision she has for me, and it's aligned with my vision. And so when you have two people who are willing to work hard and keep growing every single day, I think only great things can happen.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, just a reminder, if you do have a question, go ahead and hit the raise hand feature there at the bottom of your screen so we can get you unmuted and called on. And we will go over to Hayden. Is it Silly?
Yes, it is. Good morning, Sophie. Just want to thank you, like what Jackie said earlier, for taking the time to be able to do this. I really appreciate it. So you played in Missouri for a good chunk of your life, from high school to attending the University of Missouri in college. You got drafted by Phoenix. You've been there for a few seasons now. And like what Jackie said earlier, there were other teams looking at you as well in free agency. And there was something you pointed out that really caught my attention. You said this is your home away from home. So I just want to ask you, how has Phoenix turned into that second home for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's just surrounding yourself around the right people who are good people and who do it the right way. And when you talk about Phoenix, that's just who is a part of this association. And, even on the Sun side, it's just like one big family. And so you really can't ask for anything better when you get their support. When our staff is amazing, our team is amazing. And, last year I really felt like our team became a family, and especially at this level, it's rare to have that. And of course, the obvious, I love the sun, I love the heat, I love nature. So the mountains and all that kind of vibe is up my alley. So it was pretty hard to, even consider anywhere else, considering all of those great factors.
All right, awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next we can go over to Eliav.
Hi, yes, Eliav Gavai from Sports 360 AZ. You just mentioned it, Sophie, a little bit earlier. Everybody knows you can shoot, you can kill on the perimeter. Is there anything you feel like might be even a little bit underrated from the outside looking in about your game?
I think I'm tall. I'm a bigger guard, so I have versatility. Can guard smaller fours. Yeah, don't like guarding the point guards, way too fast for me. But you know, you can kind of guard whoever. So on the defensive end, it goes to my advantage as well. But I think my cutting, I think my slashing, you know, they have to defend me, or else I'm going to get an easy layup. And so if I don't get the ball, it just opens up a shot or a driving lane for other people. So I just think my competitiveness, my willing to keep moving, and doing really whatever it takes for the team to win is kind of what I'm about. But, you know, I'm never satisfied. I want to keep growing my game. I think just getting better at ball handling, on ball screens. And like I mentioned, that mid-range jumper will, you know, make me pretty hard to guard. So I'm excited to keep growing my game. But I think for now, you know, that's what I bring to the table.
All right. Do we have any more questions? All right, Sophie, appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us, and good luck tonight. Oh, we actually have one more question that just came through, so we'll go back over to Ella.
So sorry about that. One last thing, obviously so much veteran leadership that you were able to experience. How much did that be a part or was a part of your decision to come back?
You know, it's a big decision. I mean, when you're talking about leaders, you're talking about the greatest of all time, which is, you know, Diana. She just has a way of leading people and getting people motivated. And when you're on the team with the GOAT, you know, you want to ride that wave as long as possible and just kind of be a sponge and keep growing. You know, you still have BG on the team, you have Skylar, and you have a lot more other pieces coming in. And, you know, we were so close last year, and you don't get that far without good leadership. And you know, I think we make the adjustments. You get that little taste of those championship games, and you just want it more. And so I think with, you know, the coach coming in, you know, she sets a high standard. And so when you have a strong leader up top, then, you know, it just kind of trickles down. And so that was a huge decision making, actually pretty easy decision that I was able to make, just considering what type of leaders are on this team.
All right, next up, we're going to go to Meredith Cash with Business Insider, and then over to Hayden Silly.
Hey, Sophie, thanks for being with us. Meredith Cash from Insider here. You just mentioned that there are some pieces left to bring into the group, and there's been some reporting on that. I'm curious what that looks like from your perspective and how excited you are to bring in other pieces to maybe get you guys over the edge for a championship like you just alluded to. And the second part of that question is, there's been some talk, I think Skylar addressed it on Twitter yesterday, about, you know, how you guys balance big personalities. So if you could speak to that too, especially in the context of maybe adding other big personalities to the group, that would be great.
Absolutely. You know, I just kind of stay in my lane. You trust the front office, you trust the head coach, and people who are making those decisions on who's coming onto this roster. And, you know, when you're that close, you know, you can only be really picky about who you bring in, because you want to fill in those blanks. And I think that's exactly what they're doing, which is super exciting. You know, I'm excited to see what happens. Like I said, I'm over in France. So, oops, sorry. Give me one sec. So I'm super excited for, you know, what's to come. And honestly, I really don't know. I'm in France. I don't really keep up with a bunch. The time zone is a little wild for me. Second question, big personalities. You know, I think there's a lot in really anytime you get, you know, 12 females in a room, that there's going to be something. You know, every team has their stuff. But I think that's when, you know, I mentioned that we became a family off the court last year. And so I think if you can just get that chemistry off the court and really find out what's important to your teammates, where do they strive, what makes them great, and, you know, what they need from us to be great teammates. I think that that's where it's okay to have big personalities. It's actually fun that, you know, you can feed off of each other, because we're all a little feisty, we're all a little sassy. And I think when you have a team who has all those personalities and makes it really fun because it becomes super competitive. And when you're competitive like that, you get to the finals like we were last year. So just filling in those blanks, keeping those big personalities, keeping people thriving and being their best selves. I don't know. I think it's easier said than done, but it's pretty easy to maintain.
Great, thank you.
I will kick it back over to Hayden, followed by Corbett Harrell.
Hey, and Silly with Arizona PBS/Cronkite News again. Sophie, I wanted to ask you, when looking at Coach Nygaard's resume with going to the Final Four with Stanford and then playing in the WNBA for a good number of seasons, what are you most excited about with getting the opportunity to work with her, given the experience that she has?
Yeah, I think, what I've heard, it's kind of, I just trust the front office so much that you don't really have to do your research on people just because, they're going to bring in someone who's probably way overqualified for this position, considering who you have on your team. They're going to be the perfect fit for this position. So I really haven't done that much research, but what I've heard from her in our conversations is she shoots it straight. She's very chill. She's very fun loving. She's competitive. And she knows her basketball. And I think that she just wants what's best for each individual player, because when they're playing great, the team plays great. And so, what I've heard from her is just really good things, open communication. And so I think she's going to fit in perfectly in Phoenix, considering her personality and how fun loving she is.
We're going to go over to Corbett Harrell.
Hi, Sophie. Corbett Harrell, Lead Sports Media. Congratulations on returning to a near championship team that hopes to grow. With how close you got and the explosion of your game during that season, where do you see yourself amongst the leaders that you addressed earlier? Because you're going to be coming in on a fourth year, and so how do you see your leadership growing?
Absolutely. I think that high school to college is a transition period. Same thing, college to pro. And so those first couple of years, you just have to learn the game. It's quicker, it's faster, everyone's bigger, everyone's stronger. And so you just kind of have to read the game, watch film, and become better if you want to stick. And so I think last year, I worked on my game. I got some player development in me, worked on my shot, and I think it showed. I made some good improvements. But, this next year, it's the same thing. You got to just keep improving. If you're not working on your game, then you're just falling behind. And so for me, I think just being a voice on both ends is huge for our team, bringing that energy, always going 110% in practice and in games, just setting the tone. And I think just that focus piece and that fierce mentality that I do have, I don't give a play off, especially in practice. And that just translates to games. So I think my leadership, especially when you have Diana and BG, who already are the main leaders, that you just have to kind of own your lane, keep being a sponge, soaking up what they do to, lead the team, but also just just owning your role and showing that you belong is pretty much being a leader in your position.
And one last question, with you being in France, my daughter is adoring the idea of going to France. What have you enjoyed most about the country?
Oh my gosh. Well, it's hard because we're in a gym, on a bus, or on a plane, so you don't really get to enjoy it how people probably think. Paris was awesome. Where I'm at, it's a pretty small village. And I'm from the Midwest. I'm a girl who likes her steak and potatoes. I love food. And honestly, it's been pretty hard to find good food over here. But I think just being over here and looking at the culture, being involved in the culture, and, seeing the Eiffel Tower and seeing those things that you read in the history books growing up is pretty awesome. And then once she hits 21, I don't know how old she is, the wine is fabulous.
Thank you very much, Sophie, and congratulations again.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we're going to go to Alex Simon, followed by Blake Beasley.
Hi, Sophie. Congratulations on the new contract. When we talked at the exit interviews, you kind of said that Phoenix declining your fourth-year option was a little bit of a blessing in disguise in the season and how you played. Obviously, it's also now made you a few $1,000s richer. Not many, but a few at least too. But does that reportedly made you a few $1,000s richer? But does that kind of still feel like how it is, that it was a blessing in disguise to have that happen last season to kind of go here?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, especially the second half of the season, I just kept proving myself, and those kind of things makes me hungry. And now that I've seen, not only interest from Phoenix still, but from other teams and other people's potential that they see from me, it just kind of gives you some confidence that you're doing something right, that you're still improving and you belong. And so for me, it's motivating, and I'm just never satisfied though. I just want to keep working on my game, and I want to be great. And so I think it was a blessing in disguise. But at the same time, I'm just happy to be back in Phoenix too. Like if they would have picked up my fourth option, I would have been in the same boat. And I'm just happy, that I was able to come back, because I just feel like we have unfinished business in Phoenix.
Within that unfinished business part, I know a few people have asked you about the new coach, Vanessa Nygaard, but were you surprised at all, maybe, that Sandy wasn't brought back?
Honestly, I think Sandy was great for our program. I'm happy that she's still in the league. Like I said, I kind of stay out of that. I trust the front office and what they do and their vision. And so I'm happy to still see her in the league, but I really am super excited for Vanessa. I think she is awesome. I think she's going to set a great standard. We have big personalities on our team. And so I think she's going to hold everyone accountable. And that's what our team needs. We need discipline. We need accountability. And she's just a tough female. And I think that when that's the head of the snake, that's your head coach, that it just trickles down. And so I'm really excited to see how this season goes.
All right, we have time for just a couple more. We're going to go over to Blake Beasley next, followed by Creasy Saltis to round us out.
Hey, Sophie, congratulations on re-signing. This past offseason, what would you say you're looking to improve on the most in your game?
Yeah, over here in France, it's a pretty physical, all of Europe is pretty physical. It's fast. And so since I've been over here, there's just been a lot of on-ball screens. And so that's something that I need to improve on my game. And, I've been able to do that. So I think when you have that in your bag, that you have more opportunity. There's you want the ball when you're in the game, and you want those screens so you can either, shoot the ball or give someone a great pass. And I'm just excited to keep continuing to grow that part of my game.
Thank you, and congratulations again.
Thank you.
All right, and our final question is going to come from Creasy Saltis.
Hello, Sophie. Congratulations on your new contract. Well deserved. What makes this place, Phoenix, what makes this place so special for you?
Yeah, I think there's something to be said about staying loyal to the team that drafted you. I absolutely love Phoenix. I love the X Factor. I think, I know it's the best crowd in the whole WNBA. Our game environments are hands down the best. And just their loyalty to keep showing up and supporting us. And so when you have that type of support through the season, you just want to come back to that. You want to make them proud. And when you have great teammates, you want to be a part of that. You want to be a part of a championship team. And of course, it's nice out there. I love the sun. And so there's just so many factors that that made me want to come back. And so those are just a few.
And with the decision coming on the way, how hungry you are, how excited you are, and what can we expect from you on the floor?
Yeah, super excited, super hungry. I think making it to the championship last year, you tasted it, but we didn't get that ring. And so I think that was just more fuel to our fire. And that's not just me, that's our whole team, our whole staff. So we're all going to come in hungry this year with a different mentality. But what you can expect from me is just my competitiveness, being a great teammate, my fierce mentality, and of course 3-point shooting, and kind of doing the dirty work. I want to be more involved in the offense this year, so I've been working hard in the off season to do that. And so I just am me when I go out there. So that's what you can expect.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Sophie, thanks again for joining us. Good luck tonight. You guys will get the recording to this sent around here shortly. Thanks for joining.
Thank you, guys.